A self-built revolution is sweeping the country.
This is like a new life form that is growing uncontrollably. It's a town without planning.
What started as an experiment at Graven Hill in Oxfordshire, where plots of land were sold to aspiring self-builders by the council,
This is monumental.
has caught the imagination of local authorities across the UK. It's happening in Glasgow, where Natasha Huck, my co-presenter, and I are following an exciting scheme near the city centre, where people have been allowed to build their wildest ideas.
So dramatic, and it kind of peaks to the sky.
And now, the city of York is piloting its own creative and ambitious project.
The brickwork is really well done. It excites me.
Although, the self-built journey can be fraught with stress and difficulty.
They don't fit. I'm boiling on the inside.
Well, the wind's grabbed hold of it.
It's all in there. We need to get the cherry picker out.
This week, in York, we're following Jane and Richard, a couple who've recently met and who are now building houses 3 doors down from each other on the same street.
I think it's a really nice way to transition to being closer together. It's nicer than rushing.
She's going to be looking at you, wanting to know what your taste is. And if what she sees is a white kitchen unit and cream walls, she's going to be so disappointed.
Richard and Jane have lived in Yorkshire all their lives, and they're both out of previous relationships and with children. They found each other through the magic of the internet.
I met Jane online dating, my very first ever attempt at doing online dating.
I was ready to give up. I've had a look under all the rocks, there's nothing there. And then, I don't know why, but I never ever made the first move, but I saw Rich and liked him and smiled. I thought, oh, why not? I'll discover he's unimpressive when I look under his rock.
Ooh, But joking apart, being in a new relationship is a big step for Jane. She's divorced from her previous partner after years of living in a house which became as broken down as their relationship.
Drop a bit more salt and pepper. We had holes in the ceiling in the kitchen. There's a hole in the wall where the boiler used to be, and holes in the carpets up the stairs. Hard as you try, you know it's never clean and it's never nice. I kind of felt that people judged me on it. You know, if people did come round, they'd be like, oh my God, she lives in a house like this, it's awful.
Having made do for years, when the chance came up to take part in York City Council's pilot self-build scheme, she leapt at it.
This is it?
This is my plot.
Nice.
Here, at Lowfield Green, 2 miles from the city centre, 6 self-built plots have been sold for under £100,000 apiece to budding self-builders.
How big is it?
I think it's about 23 metres by 9 metres.
And your house sits... it's got to be fairly full width, because it's not the widest plot.
Yeah, so a metre from each boundary.
Yeah. And what are you building?
3-storey, 5-bed, very modern, contemporary-looking house. I wanted something that was going to be really functional and easy to live life in. So utility room, things like that. Well, I want it to be cool and stylish and comfortable as well, and a home. Having lived in compromised homes, I want a home that really functions well and it's easy to live in.
But that also doesn't have wires dangling, and that is finished and decorated, and which you love and enjoy and see as your own.
And when I do sit down to relax, it's a nice place to be and welcoming and warm, Yeah.
Can I ask what the budget is?
I've got a budget of 300,000 for the actual build, and then I bought the land separately.
So 300,000, including your foundations, that's quite, you know, focusing. You've got to work hard to contain the budget there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Are you going to drive it? Are you going to project manage?
Yes.
Are you working at the moment?
Yes.
Full-time?
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
Full-time job, 3 children. Yeah, just running around with their clubs and things.
Richard and Jane have used the same architect to design their homes and the same construction system. They're using SIPs, structurally insulated panels to build their houses. Big slabs of wood, pre-made in a factory in Yorkshire, then taken to site and put up in days. On the outside, Jane's will have brick slips, white render and elegant cladding. Richard's will similarly be rendered white with wooden cladding, but he's gone for a daring giant skylight with 5 smaller roof lights to boot. Inside Jane's, at the front of the house on the ground floor, there'll be a living room, cloakroom and utility space. At the back of the house, a beautiful kitchen. There's also a dining area and family space and 2 desks for when Richard wants to come over to work from home. The stairs lead up to 2 bedrooms, a bathroom and Jane's master suite with a walk-in wardrobe and a balcony to overlook the garden. On the top floor there'll be a bedroom for her eldest daughter, a bathroom and another bedroom with a smaller balcony. Richard's house, meanwhile, will contain a lounge with a full-length window that looks onto the street, a small toilet, a utility room and an open-plan kitchen, living and family space with a double-height void above it. Upstairs there'll be a home office area, a spare bedroom, a family bathroom and a main bedroom and bathroom also with a walk-in wardrobe. On the second floor there'll be 2 generous bedrooms for his kids, storage space and a large games room. The SIPS company are programmed to start work in a month's time, but Jane needs to get her foundations in first.
Who was doing the groundworks for you?
I've really struggled to find people. I've reached out probably to about 15 ground workers and managed to only get I think only 2 quotes back I've got.
I don't believe this.
And massive waits.
But I'd have thought the council would be putting you in touch and saying, look, 6 plots, you need 6 sets of foundations, let's go for one contractor.
We have been on group emails together.
I'm just thinking, if you're having difficulty getting your groundworks, then if you go for 6, then actually you open up the interest in the market and you might get a discount for volume even.
While Jane hunts for a ground worker, her neighbour Nicola, 4 doors down, is powering ahead with her traditional brick home. She's built up to the 1st floor, but now has to wait for the wooden joists to arrive.
Our delay in the wood meant that there's been a bit of a pause and a gap. People on site that have had trouble getting the ground workers. There's been a bit of a conversation over our group WhatsApp about if there was any availability anywhere.
So, she's offered her building team to help with the groundworks.
It's been nice to know that we've been able to help out a little bit with giving a contact to somebody that we know we can trust and that we're happy to recommend as well.
Jane is first in line to have almost 60 tons of concrete pumped into the foundations. For luck, she's taken extra precautions to ensure a smooth build.
When I came the other night to check out the footings being dug, I threw in a lucky penny to go under the concrete. So hope that works and it doesn't fall down.
It is a strange form of building insurance, but whatever works. Richard's not started building yet, but he doesn't care. He's in love.
Cutting to the chase, forget about the project. You've got it together with Jane.
I have got it together with Jane. So she'd bought a plot. She said to me, I think on date 2, that, oh, by the way, I'm building my own house.
That I find quite an exciting thing in a potential partner, don't you? And particularly one who you might not expect to be doing that self-empowered thing.
Well, yeah, with 3 kids.
Did you find it quite sexy?
I did. I thought this is a good thing to have in a partner, to be doing something so exciting.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone does it, but most people say they want to do it. So I was like, brilliant. And then she said, oh, I think there's another plot available. Gave me the website.
You must have had a conversation about the fact that you're doubling up.
Yeah, of course. So when we first started to do this, we realised we were too early in our relationship to live together. You know, we've got 5 kids between us.
Wow.
So
It's a proper blended family.
So we couldn't inflict each other on our children so soon.
That is a really good argument. And what you're effectively doing is, in building 2 houses, you're building not just 2 homes, but actually just enough bedroom space to accommodate the children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perhaps when they are both finished, we'll have one house for the children, and then one house for Jane and I.
That's one way of looking at it, isn't it?
The houses will be similar in size and scale, although Richard has evolved his design.
I am building a 5 bedrooms, 3 stories, fairly modern, contemporary. But initially it was a 2-story, so I thought I may as well just make the most of the overall space.
Yeah, sure.
So I just said, can you add in a couple more bedrooms, an office, just basically fill the space up.
How much is it all going to cost you? Do you know? Have you costed it all out?
I'm hoping everything all in about 320.
Okay.
But I think it's very tight.
Richard's budgeted for building the 3rd floor, just not how he's going to fit it out. It's too late to do anything now, though, as the factory in Huddersfield has started to make the structurally insulated panels over the walls of the house. These are giant sterling board sandwiches with foam in the middle to make the walls and the floors. They're cut to size by computer before being stacked ready for shipping. In the run-up to Christmas, the panels arrive to be put up by a team of expert builders. The outer wall panels are lifted up one by one into place, glued, and then more panels are added to them. The stud timber walls for the inside have been ready-made. They just slot in too. It's an incredibly neat, efficient system, although Jane has been hit with an unexpected cost for it.
I have had to find an extra £10,000. So due for unforeseeable circumstances to do with the price of timber around the world, which has been a global issue, they've had to increase the price just to be able to fulfil the order.
It is a lot of money for someone on a tight budget.
Hi.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello, lovebirds. How are you? Quite romantic, isn't it, to think of these 2 buildings passing through the same factory
It
as
is.
a couple?
Yeah.
Do you worry about money?
I do, and you have to be careful with money, but I'll compromise where I can, but I'm not in a position to start negotiating on the price of timber or steel, so I can't affect that. I have to just accept whatever that is.
You'll figure it out later, in other words.
If I get near the end and I'm running out of money, I'll have to have a cheaper bathroom, cheaper tiles, but Rich worries a lot more than me.
The idea of building not 1, but 2 houses at the same time, enduring all these stresses and sort of, you know, discovering each other in a relationship, that's uncommon. That's not normal, is it?
Yeah, well, you don't normally get together with someone and within the first 2 years you're kind of building a house separately.
Put together.
And together, yeah. It helps that we're building very similar houses. We're using a lot of the same companies.
Yeah, the stresses are shared, aren't they? Because whatever one of us is finding difficult, the other knows that they're probably going to find difficult when they get to that stage as well.
Yeah.
Building a house with a partner, someone you trust, would seem to offer a kind of template for how group self-build should work, where you can offer each other support, understanding, and practical help.
It's romantic, isn't it? You meet someone, you decide to build a house together, you go on this journey and you discover hidden depths. You develop new admiration for each other, for what you bring and the reserves that you have. You get to know each other better and you emerge stronger as a result. Oh, that's one outcome. The other is, of course, is that you fall out terribly and you end up living in the same street 2 doors down from each other. Oh, wait, that's what Richard and Jane are doing.
Richard has been renting his house in York for the last few years. And for him, self-building at Lowfield Green is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him and his kids.
What's your favourite one of all of these?
It's just always been a bit on the small side. I want them to have a proper space. I want them to feel like it's their room and not to come and just have a bed and a few bits and bobs lying around. It's not just life in a new house for me and the children, it's life, it's a stepping stone to be near Jane.
The structure of Jane Sipp's house is now up and wrapped in a dark breather membrane. It's now Richard's turn. He's worried about the top floor, that he can't afford to plaster, paint or finish.
I think with it being 3 floors as well, best part 10 metres top of the roof, it's huge, it's massive space. At the moment, when I see all the sort of bills that are coming in, it's going to be really tight.
Two weeks later, the frame is up.
I can't believe you've done so much. You've got the walls up, you've got the stud work walls up, you've got the steel up. Are your windows ordered?
Windows are ordered. I'll get a nice amount of light. It's kind of longer and narrower than I would want a house, I think. So to bring in extra light is really key.
Yeah, well done for doing that. I think it's going to be necessary. You're going to value it.
Yeah.
When people are on the slab talking about their house, they're talking about the construction, they're talking about the phase, and the moment they get the thing up, they start talking about light. Because people suddenly realise, oh, hang on, I haven't got enough windows. I think here, though, you're doing well. It's not gloomy at all.
Getting light in is the easy bit. The hard part is working out who's living where.
It started off as me, my 2 kids, 3-bed house, maximise the space in terms of use the height, and now, yeah, but I will probably be at Jane's a lot.
What's your view about how much do you spend on a kitchen, on the bathrooms, on the staircase, on the carpets?
So at the moment, my thought process is to get a robust house, but a practical house. In a weird way, I don't want to fall too much in love with my own house here, because if it becomes my little space and my little oasis, then I become too attached to it.
But if you make it too bland, nobody wants it. Even contemporary hotel suites are still designed with an identity. There's something else here, Richard, which is that going forward, if you decide to make a life with Jane, you will never again have the opportunity to kit somewhere out to your taste.
That's very true.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make it your own.
There's a lot of pressure with that.
But she's also going to be looking at you, wanting to know what your taste is, how you define yourself in the material world. And if what she sees is a white kitchen unit and cream walls, she's going to be so disappointed.
Yeah, she'll be mortified.
While Richard figures out how to express himself to Jane through his taste and style, Jane is tending to some more practical arrangements. She's asked the builder to adjust the door frames to make them Richard-friendly.
Jane's slightly concerned with the heights. All the doors have been set for standard height at 6'6", and Jane's partner is 6'8". She was just a little bit concerned about him bumping his head, really. We're having to change them for taller ones.
There was not much space at all between Rich's head and the top of the door frames that have been put in. Can you imagine if I hadn't caught this now and then we moved in and you were coming round all the time and crowning the top of your head every time you moved to a different room?
A crucial extra 2 inches for Richard. But if he's going to be spending more time at Jane's, there are other questions.
How tall's your shower head?
We haven't established that yet, but I have got that in mind. And I need to buy a longer bed for you.
Yeah.
Jane, though, is just over 5 feet tall, so some things do need to stay at a normal height.
Coat hooks.
Coat hooks?
They can't be too high. Oh, you can have a high one.
I'm not ridiculously tall. I'm not classified as a giant.
However the living arrangements pan out, for both of them, the pace of the project is unrelenting. Jane's working all hours, juggling project management with the rest of her life.
So I'll share that with the fitter. It's draining. I do my day job, fitting everything in on an evening. There's no more watching telly for me. It's browsing various websites, getting emails sent off to get quotes. And I try to fit the house building either at lunchtime or I sit and do my research on an evening once I get the kids to bed.
She's also got to keep the household running, taking care of the day-to-day of looking after children.
Have you got a spoon?
And catering for their needs.
Right, have a good day. I'll pick you up tonight from Joe's. Bye.
While, at the same time, unrelated to the project, negotiations with her former partner carry on.
When I first started planning this house, I had the children 100%. That's changed. We'll see how that pans out. You get upset for a bit and then you just carry on.
All on top of the mentally and physically exhausting process of self-building. It's a messy business too. There is one access road to the site, also used by the big diggers and dump trucks working on the other houses at Lowfield Green, churning up mud. And when it rains, it gets worse.
I'm standing in the drop-off and storage zone for the self-builders here. They're meant to be able to keep all of their materials on this site. Graven Hill, in comparison, actually begins to look like sort of self-build heaven, doesn't it?
Jane's certainly struggling to find places to put stuff.
So, your glazing is parked there, outside your house. And over here, the insulation is parked here. And the third vehicle space is occupied by a pile of pallets. Oh, and then there's all this.
They're not mine.
Oh, they're not yours?
They belong next door.
That's next door's rubbish?
Yes.
Wowzer. It's quite a problem here, isn't it? Because all this stuff you need, it's normal to expect a space for storage.
Well, we have got a set-down area over there, but I wouldn't want to put my brand new windows in that much mud. So it feels chaotic out here.
Meanwhile, on the rest of the Lowfield Green site, the custom-built houses are going up quickly and the rest of the development is coming together nicely.
Looking through this gate, everything seems so beautiful and clean and tidy. The development out there looks posh, whereas I feel as I'm the wrong side of the grill. This is the self-built zoo in here. But look, somebody's left the gate open. I can step through and experience this perfect world of pavements and spring bulbs and playground furniture and solar panels. You see, this is what that ought to be like, isn't it, really? Except it's not. And of course, I'm not wearing the right shoes, am I? I should go back.
In York, Richard has put in a whole extra floor in his house. But he needs to find the money to fit it out. So he's had to make some radical savings.
The SIPS insulation is, give or take, enough to meet the design code.
Yes.
So there was 01, the U value underneath it, which the architect was trying to get some internal insulation.
And you just said, I don't want that, I want to save some money.
I spoke to the council, who verbally said it's fine, not to bother.
Okay. Meanwhile, Jane has got it.
I'm definitely more of a risk taker than Jane. Jane wanted to do everything by the spec.
Richard is cutting back costs in areas that you won't see, but not on the areas that'll look dramatic.
What a heroic space that is, eh? That big skylight at the top, which is going to drench the stairwell in light. It's a good height up, isn't it? You know.
Well, yeah, the top of the pitch is 9.7. It needs a good 10-metre lift. And then, of course, it's the fitting element, which is the concern.
Understandably, it's cost him £4,000, and it's a key architectural moment in the building. It's a top-of-the-range piece of glass, except he's not paying for the proper kit to install it.
I got quotes from a company about 60 miles away to come along with a proper suction lifting piece of equipment, and that all in would have been 1,200. You know, if it's doing a full house worth of windows, then it kind of makes it worth having it for a day, but probably going to be a couple of hours at most.
Instead, to install his £4,000 high-end architectural skylight, he's hired a local crane for £850 without specialist equipment. It comes only with straps.
That sits inside the wall, that sits on the latch there.
And lots of discussion about how best to fit them.
If you're lifting it on there, it's obviously going to bend that.
Yeah.
That's safe, I bet. Is that the right way around?
This is why it's worth being here, because you hear all the potential issues, and if you just rock up the day after, you go, oh, that was nice.
Usually, suction clamps would hold big panes of glass like these while they're being lifted. Here, I can't see much that would stop the expensive glass from falling out. Then it's away up into the air when the wind suddenly picks up.
So I get it above scaffolding before wind blows it.
Too late.
Well, wind's grab hold of it. You go hold of it for a sec, that back. Just keep hold of it a sec. That's it.
Finally, with the glass under control, they lower it into the opening in the roof.
Sat proudly in position. It fitted like a glove. It looks amazing. So worth every penny of the £4,000.
Nice. At the start of her project, Jane had to fork out an extra £10,000 for her wooden frame because of rising timber costs. The kitchen was something she could have made savings on. But after years living in a broken-down home, she's determined not to compromise on the things that really matter to her.
What's this cost?
I think it was about £34,000.
What? 35 grand all in?
Yeah.
Really?
And a table. It includes a deck top table.
Oh, well, that's such good value then, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's it made from then?
This is
gold?
It's ceramic, so ceramic doors, ceramic worktop.
Ceramic?
Yeah, so really hard wearing. I don't know if it's got some fingerprint resistant coating as well.
Yes, well, my fingerprints don't seem to show on it. That's amazing.
Yeah, but this is my indulgence and my investment and my make my life easier.
Jane.
It does, on the surface, sound like an incredible amount of money.
Yeah, because I would normally spend between 5,000 and 7,000 on the kitchen. I'd expect to buy all the units in a sale. I'd probably make my own doors, buy the handles online from some cheap place, and then smash out on a tap. Yeah. You know, that's it. I would have to swallow very hard to spend that on a kitchen.
I just wanted it.
Yeah, well, good for you, girl.
This is where I spend probably 90% of my waking life.
OK, no, I get that.
33 grand does buy you some interesting things.
That is not your standard Swedish high street.
No.
Who makes that, then?
Part of the kitchen. They are quite expensive.
I'm going to take this out. Look how beautiful and thin and elegant that is. That's completely beautiful. And it's just, yeah, made out of solid oak.
Yeah.
I love that.
You'd have thought spending a large amount of money on a kitchen would buy some certainty of things going right.
I have just noticed that is supposed to be the fridge and that is supposed to be the freezer because you put your tea bag in. I don't want to go like like this, get the milk, close the door, pour it.
No. But that's got to be changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oi!
Richard's house, meanwhile, is catching up. The builders are working flat out fitting the plasterboard. It's promising to be spectacular, a home Jane surely couldn't fail to be impressed by.
Oh, that's so good, isn't it? This is really spectacular.
Thank you.
So, whose is this?
One of the child's. Child 1 and child 2 next door.
Child #1.
Yeah.
With a nice window, and they're most importantly of all, they've got their own opening skylight.
It's just a quirky shaped room. If I was a kid, I'd love this room.
Yeah, that's good though, isn't it? Because so often, even in kind of really exciting buildings, sometimes you find that the first floor bedrooms are just boxes. There's no excitement to the shape. There's no excitement to the shape of the windows. It's just a very functional room to sleep in. This is a bit more dynamic. So you'll be following through with plaster and paint and second fix.
They're both tantalisingly close to finishing their shared, long-held vision for living together in different houses.
My door's a bit stiff.
Richard wants Jane to stay at his place as much as she's keen for him to stay at hers.
But you just look at the detail on the really difficult bits, and it's amazing. Like,
It's so neat.
I'm just checking all the socket angles, make sure they're in line with the rest of the room, because that's a big bugbear of mine. Yeah, ever since we've known each other, pretty much, we've had this goal, project, and in 3 months, surely we will be in.
You can feel what it'll be at the end, and I think that's a really nice thing.
But it still doesn't feel like real. So I can imagine being in here in, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 weeks with brushes, rollers, paint, radio blaring out, and just like, this is it. I'm actually starting the final little home run. Oils and paintbrushes. Yeah, it's within our grasp to finish it off.
The builders have now finished. They're moving on to other jobs. And Jane is still over £10,000 short to finish the project. So, armed with a bandsaw, screws and impact screwdriver, she starts the outside work herself, fixing the battens for the cladding.
This is where I'm not strong enough.
Do you find it satisfying?
Yeah, I do if I can get to the end and feel like I've done it right and done a good job.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit crestfallen the other day. Some of it's a bit, like, wobbly, so...
Shonky.
It's my hardest bit, is getting the weight behind it. So I'm hoping I can do a lot better. And I think I'll have to just go around everywhere I have done and just unscrew and retighten it.
Will you?
But then hopefully, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
to get it right. Yeah.
My only kind of problem now, or thing that really sort of annoys me, is that because of the planning conditions, I can only work 8 till 1 on a Saturday and not allowed to work outside of that over the weekend. And obviously I've got a full-time job, I've got kids. So I literally get half a day per week to get this job done.
So Jane brings in extra firepower.
One in the middle.
Her dad.
I started doing it myself in the summer, and then my dad came with his cape and has basically done the rest of it for me. So he's moved it forwards absolutely loads. So yeah, we're just getting the last of the render boards on the ground floor area, and then I will probably get the brick slips on this before I then pay to get scaffolding up, and then we'll do the higher levels where it'll all be rendered. He doesn't have to do any of this at all, but I really appreciate any help he does give me, and love that he's my sounding board to go to when I get stuck.
Even with Dad's help, finishing the outside promises to take a long time. Work on the interior, however, is on the home straight. Plastering. Flooring. Both Jane and Richard are closer than ever to the biggest milestone in their relationship yet.
Well, it has been a privilege to witness the evolution of Richard and Jane's relationship as they have each built their own homes here. And now that the excitement of construction and the adrenaline of the self-build process begin to drain away to be replaced by the humdrum of everyday life, all you can hope is that these two separate households in separate buildings, two families, begin to work somehow seamlessly and unthinkingly as one in some way. All you can hope is that for Richard and Jane, it all works.
Richard and Jane have pushed themselves hard to build their homes and their new lifestyle together.
Well, there you are. Two houses, two households, and I think one intact relationship.
Jane's now spent her 300 grand budget, so the outside's unfinished because she's prioritised the inside. Richard's also spent all of his 320 grand budget, leaving the exterior to concentrate on finishing the rooms on his second floor. But no matter, it's the inside of these houses and the living arrangements which I'm really interested in anyway.
Beautiful, with a huge kitchen, loads of space. And this is some kitchen. I mean, it's got posh handles which are recessed and, oh yeah, they feel good because there's a little double lip there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And posh appliances and posh hob.
And I'd much rather have this than a nice car any day.
That is interesting. Richard, would you rather have a nice car or a nice kitchen?
I'll take the nice car.
Yeah, okay.
And just have a microwave.
I'll just come round here to eat.
I'll come out here.
As well as this remarkable kitchen, there are all manner of other interesting and unusual things to explore.
So you've each got a double cupboard? Oh, yes.
This one's mine.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've got the slide and hide
Oh, yes.
doors.
It's a proper cubicle.
Yeah.
It's like when you go and rent one of those workspaces in a London kind of business centre, you know. Oh, look, you want two, Richard.
I have my own.
Side.
I can see you're flat out. Yeah. But yours is good. Look, sensible. You've got a separate screen, all touch away.
Yeah.
I wonder if Richard's properly moved in.
So, without being too delicate about it, can I just ask, where are you living, Richard? Are you here more? Are you there more? What's the deal?
I'm here when I don't have my kids.
Okay.
When I'm not working away.
That's quite a good arrangement. So when their kids are here, they've got a home, you're there.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a holiday home you go to then with your kids, is it?
It is. It's like, yeah, it's the usually quite clean and tidy house that I go back to and climb into a bed that's pretty clean.
Okay.
What are you saying?
Are you ever invited round?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I don't spend as much time there as what we probably originally thought we would. Because of something that happened, I've ended up with my kids back 100%. Obviously, now I've not got that freedom every other weekend, whereas normally we'd have drifted between the two more, I think, wouldn't we?
So we've both got keys for each other's houses. It's like when your kids can't open your front door, they come round to me and say, can you let me in at my mum's house?
Yeah. You just redefined the extended family for the 21st century. That's what you've done with the blended family.
The families can come together when they want and then retire to their own spaces. The children's rooms are extraordinary.
Oh, this is great.
It's gorgeous,
Oh,
isn't it?
it's beautiful. You're up in the canopy. And lighting's fun.
The bird's nest.
Yeah, bird's nest up in the tree.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. What a set of spaces though up here with the shapes, the recess, the blinds and the angled windows. It's just fun, isn't it? Such
I'm
fun.
not sure I would do the triangular shaped windows again because trying to dress them or get blinds for them, that was very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blind industry love them, of course, because they can charge you.
Yeah, I've had to sell a kidney to put blinds in these two top bedrooms.
Yeah. Congratulations, Jane, because it's so beautifully done.
There is something for everyone in this generous and well-appointed home.
This is Charlotte's room, I think, with, oh, walk-in wardrobe, workstation, sofa in the bedroom. This is like a hotel. This is everything a grown-up needs. She's 16. She's set up for life.
To step into Jane's bedroom is to walk into a Mediterranean holiday home. It has a beautiful ensuite bathroom. It's clear why Richard enjoys spending so much time here. So, what's he done with his house?
It's painted, Richard. It's done.
More than that, it offers moments of awe and wonder, as when you walk into the living room.
Oh, it's just brilliant. You haven't got side windows because of the closeness of the neighbours. So actually by putting in the double height window, it allows you to get the sun in at an angle deep into the plan to track around. So you get that movement. I mean, I'm not as tall as you, but being taller, there is that constant sense in buildings sometimes, particularly modern ones, of the lowness of the ceiling, and you feel a bit repressed. And then this. It is like taking a breath of fresh air. You feel your lungs opening up almost.
Come here to take a deep breath, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So where is the inner Richard expressed here? Is it everywhere?
I think it's everywhere. The colours, the styles, the simplicity.
I am struck how different this is from Jane's. In terms of personality, this is much more open and quite minimal.
But yeah, Jane's is all richer, sludgier colours, which, you know, they're beautiful colours and they work with Jane's house.
This is purer, as the modernists would have wanted it.
There are experiences to be had in this house in the most unlikely places.
Your staircase, now that it's finished. Oh, yes! Yes! So that, I can see sky. Oh, look, this is brilliant. This is the best way to see it, because you get to see the sky above the staircase as though you were outside, as though this were an open staircase. Like people used to build in castles and cities and tenements and inns of law, where, you know, you get the staircase winding up, it's open, it's visible to the outside world, so it's safe. And then all the interior spaces were through doors off that. This is great. It even looks exactly like one. It's just brilliant.
It's a lovely space. I love that view. Although I've never done it from that position before.
You've got to, because it's so graphic. And what makes it is not having a ceiling at the top. To have the sky there is just the best thing. Because as far as you're concerned, you're just in an open outdoor space, staring up at it. I mean, in every way, it's historically correct. It's brilliant. I love it.
For entertainment, there's a modernist games room on the top floor. Minimal darts, anyone? The kids' bedrooms are changed by their triangular shape into sculptural spaces. All in all, pretty good. But then it doesn't matter what I think.
If you walked into this house not knowing who lived here or that they built it, what would you think about them?
Oh God, just someone who's really got their life together and is very capable, and I'd just be really impressed, I think, especially if I knew it was a self-build, not that they had chosen to just move into or just buy this house like this. It's like really impressive that someone has taken it from a rectangular piece of soil and created this incredible home.
Do you feel that you've got your life together?
Yeah, pretty much, on most days.
No, because that's what I'd say about your place.
Yeah, I do.
Which suggests that you're both pretty together people.
Yeah, I do feel very resilient just from my past, and I know that no matter how hard the knocks are, you can get back up again. You know, as long as you've got your health, that's the most important thing, isn't it? And each other.
Yeah, and your family.
Yeah.
Which you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family and families. These two houses hark back to the past, to a different way of life.
150 years ago, Kids were in and out of all the houses in the street. Auntie Mabel lived round the corner, Granny was over the road. We lived a much more socially mixed and accessible life. And that's what actually Richard and Jane have done here. Their blended family has resulted in them devising a way of living between two houses, which is just an updated version of how we as a society have lived for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Why not do that? I think it's brilliant. And you know why I'm stood here by myself in this living room, don't you? It's because they're all 3 doors down.